Hey everyone, Dane here. Tonight we are going to be working on a Sega GameGear. This is one that we recently pulled apart so we could figure out which motherboard revision we had so we could get the correct cap kit. And this one is currently dead. It has no power, so we've got a new power board. We're going to pop this in here, see if we can't get it up and running again. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so our GameGear's already been pulled apart, so we're just going to go ahead and flip this over. And tonight we are concerned with the power board, which is right here. It's the one that has the power button on it. So we're just going to set the main board aside. And, having messed with one of these before, in the past I had tried, when I had a bad power board, replacing all of the caps that were in there already. And then when that didn't work, going in and replacing individual transistors and other parts that are known to wear out on the power board. And to be entirely honest, I don't think it's worth going through all that trouble. If you've got issues, you may as well just buy yourself a nice USB-C power board, whether it's, one with rechargeable batteries or not. I just think you may as well invest in a brand new board, unless, you just particularly enjoy tinkering on one of these things, which is totally legit. But yeah, let's go ahead and get our power board pulled here. So I need one of my Wera screwdrivers. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, but if I remember right, we actually have to remove a piece of plastic here. All right, and now that that is removed, we'll be able to lift this out of here. I'm just kind of putting my pliers under there to lift up from the bottom. And we're going to want to hang on to those screws. So I'm just going to set those up here. All right, there is our old power board. Pop that button off. Now, nothing really jumps out at me on here as being a particular part that looks worn out. It doesn't have any major corrosion on it. I actually revived and restored a GameGear. I guess it was probably about last year, where the batteries that were in it had completely exploded and it corroded all over the inside of it, and I was able to get that one up and running. So I've got high hopes for this one tonight as well. So here is our new power board. I got this from Handheld Legend, and this is really cool. This is a rechargeable battery kit, so you don't have to rely on your was it 6 AAA batteries? 4 or 6 that go in there. Yeah, 6. That's right. Go ahead and get this opened up. All right, so there's our battery packs. That's cool. Don't need those right at the moment, so we'll just set those aside. Like we've got some like shims in there too. Not entirely sure what that's for yet, but let's go ahead and get into our PCB here. Now, this is an original shell, so I do believe I'm going to have to do a little bit of modification board to be able to make it fit. Seems to drop down in there pretty good. I wonder if it has to do with how the other shell is in there. We'll figure that out as we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and just screw it right back in. Oh no, you know what? I needed to put the button back on there. Yeah. It is that simple to replace your power board. Very much worth it, in my opinion, to shell out for one of these. Okay, a couple quick notes on our power board here. Didn't fully read the thing before I started installing it, and I should have. Word to the wise, you should always do that. I just got a little ahead of myself. So in order for this to fit in this shell properly, we are going to need to trim up this connector right here. The other thing is that the screen needs 34 volts if you are using the original screen. And there's a little switch right here that tells us you have to be switched to the on position if you're using the original screen, which Jay elected to do for this. So yeah, we're gonna hit this connector with our XL8 shears and see about making this fit. We're gonna trim these all the way down right by the bottom. Exactly sure what the best method is for backside here. Be able to just sort of bend it, get in there with our. I almost think an X-Acto knife might be the way to go for that. If I can do this without slicing myself too bad. So really, we're just going to try to run this right on the bottom here. You know what? I've got a little bit of solder on the end of my X-Acto blade there, so I need to replace that. Okay, we've got a new blade. Let's go ahead and try to get this trimmed up. I'm not pressing like super hard here. Score it. Here we go. Done. It should look a little something like that. I think I'll probably file that down just a little bit right there to make sure that it's nice and flat. And I'll do that off camera. It's just going to be now with the file. Okay, just clean that up with X-Acto. File just a little bit. Just careful when you're in there. There are traces that run alongside it, so you don't want to hit any of those. But yeah, we're going to now switch our switch to the 34 volt on position, like so, and get it installed back in the case. Having a hard time getting hold of that. There we go. We are screwing into plastic, so we want to make sure that after we get the screw set down in, we go left until we hear it click. There. Actually, there it is. And then we screw it all the way in. Okay, so we are now ready to hook this up and test it and see if we get power. What we'll do is come over here to our top shell, make sure that we get this all in properly. And it's helpful to kind of push the mouse, not the mouse wheel, the audio wheel over into the side of the case here first. So you kind of set it down in like that. There we go. And now we can hook this back up. So I kind of set the two sides together like this. And you know what? I actually am going to drop a couple screws back in there. Just make sure that nothing falls out when I'm putting the two halves back together to test. We don't have to put all of the screws back in. We can just put a handful in. I lost one there. All right, that's two. That's enough to keep the main board held in place. Go ahead and hook our power back up. This is definitely a tight fit. All right, there we go. Let's hook our audio back up. All right, there we go. Now all we need to do is flip this back over and press it back together. All right, there we go. That's back together enough. So let's go ahead and put in a tester game. Got Revenge of Drancon here, which I had no idea. It was basically just Adventure Island for the GameGear. All right, and let's hook up our USB-C. Moment of truth. Let's see if this thing turns on. Well, it's got power. It is definitely not booting up. Okay, well, we do know that we have brought the thing back to life, but clearly there are some other issues with it. So I'm going to go poke at this a little bit off camera and see if I can figure anything out. Okay, so I hooked up batteries just because I didn't like the way this was flashing. It was basically the power board was trying to charge something and it couldn't. So I hooked the batteries in and tried to turn it on. Made sure that we are definitely set to having our 34 volt on. The screen is getting power, but it is not doing anything. So I think the thing to do now is just go ahead and replace the caps like going to anyway, and see if that'll fix anything for us. Okay, so we have removed our main board again, and we're just going to start replacing all of these caps that are on here. And that's actually what these square things are here. Zoom in. Kind of cool. They're actually still cylindrical caps. Inside there, they just have these square cases on there. It's kind of a cool thing I've only ever actually seen in the GameGear here. But yeah, we'll go ahead and just start pulling those. Let's get to it. All right, so for these these weird SMD caps, I find that kind of using the flood method, if I remember right, it's been a little while since I've done one of these, but I'm pretty sure that'll work. So we're going to try to basically flood both sides of this capacitor, see if we can't get it to that cap started poking out the front, but it didn't Didn't want to slide out of there, did it? All right, let's see about getting under that case. Oh yeah, there we go. In fact, one side is off there already. Take a look at that. Because these pads always want to break on you, but I'm pretty sure we're okay there. That really doesn't look too bad. I think I am just gonna kind of clean some of these up as I go. Hit it with a little isopropyl. And I can't tell if that cap had started to leak or not. I don't actually think it did. I think there's just a little bit of glue left on there. All right, so that was C33. Let's see about getting under this one. Yeah, okay, so you can kind of pop them off first. Then just flood both sides with solder and pop right off the board there. All right, so we removed C33 and C35. Looks like we might have hit this, so we're just gonna. Definitely be careful when you're in here. There's all kinds of really small components around the parts that you're going to be removing. All right, now this is the side that has all the caps on it. There's a lot to replace over here. That's all right. We're just going to go through one at a time and start removing them. And some of them, if you can't get your tweezers up under there, you can just sort of hit it from the back with your thumb. Oh, yeah. Huh. This one right here, not even glued down. Just wanted to pop right out there. Guess that's the one coming out next. This little stubby one here looks like it's going to be kind of difficult. Or if I can just sort of grab it with my pliers here and kind of. Geez, that case just came right apart there. I didn't even know that could happen. I guess that's one way to do it. Honestly, that was a little more elegant as far as getting the cap off there. You could just lift one side off and then do the other. Now, some of these I can't quite tell, but it almost looks like leaked. I don't know that they have. Yeah, like there, I can't tell if that has leaked or if that's just glue or quite what. And I'm not seeing like a bunch of residue out on the board that makes them look bad, but just because they haven't leaked doesn't mean that they're not bad caps. Yeah, you know, if you kind of are getting reacquainted with this as I go, you can just kind of tilt the thing up, heat one side, then heat the other, and pull them off one leg at a time. And it seems to be a little bit of a safer way to go about doing it than trying to flood both sides at once, although that does work too. You know what? Sorry, I just realized my hand is totally getting in the way there. Trying to lift these. So I'm just kind of using my pliers to try to hit the back and start to tilt them up. So I can then just lift them with my finger there. Then, you know, you just hit one side, move it, and do the same thing for the other side. Pops off. We're making pretty good progress as far as getting all the caps off the main board here. This one's kind of tight in here, so be careful. All right, looks like it's just 3 more to go on this side. This one back here, last one on this side, we're going to want to be extra careful with because it butts right up against this big power connector here. This one's going to be tricky. I might be able to just pull this off the board here. And that is on there really tight. Tight in there. Can't quite get my pliers in there, I don't think. Here's what we're going to try. Wedge these in there and see if we can't. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's a technique for getting that loose. Get something real skinny in there and sort of come at it on the side. All right, there we go. That's the last one. That one's definitely going to be the biggest pain to solder back in. But yeah, there we have all of our caps removed. No lifted traces, or no lifted pads, no broken traces. That's definitely how we want to do things. I'm just kind of coming back in here and reflowing real quick. All right, let's go ahead and clean this board up. All right, there we go. There is our freshly decapped board. I'm just going to throw away all these old caps here. And I will be using the trusty Console 5 wiki page, so I know what caps will be going where on my board. They have a nice list that I can just follow along and start putting the caps in where they go. All right, there's my cap kit. Just realized we missed one. There's a sneaky one right here. All right, so now we're ready to start replacing caps. So, all right, so I'm just looking at my wiki page here. So we're going to start with the one I just removed, C1, and that is going to be a 33 mic 6 volt. Need to find those. All right, so we've got 10 mic 16s. A lot of single individual ones here. This is a 33 mic 10. That should work just fine for that one, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm just going to kind of look through and see what else came in this kit. 10 mic 50 volt. 47 6.3 volt. Awesome. That one, let's see, that was a 100 mic 25 volt. We got all kinds of stuff. 100 mic, 6.3. Well, either way, I believe I found... so we got some SMD caps. So these are 100 mic, 16 volts. And looks like some 47 mic, 4 volts. Interesting. Yeah, I think the one we want is this guy right here. This is going to be our 33 mic. And, near as I can tell, that's the only 33 mic on the whole board. All right, so our positive leg is going to be on the right side here. And for these, what I'm going to be doing to make installations a little bit easier for myself, so I'm going to bend these legs down, really right from the base of the capacitor, straight down with it, and then straight back again. So that way, the cap can lay flat. That. Then I'm just going to bend the legs a little bit so that they will go to the proper places on the board. So this will lay on there just about like that. I just need to snip them and clean it up. I've misplaced my side snips. I need to organize my workspace here. I'll be right back. Okay, so found my tools, and I've got my cap ready to be placed on the board. Sorry, my hand's probably going to get in the way a little bit as I'm doing this here, because these are actually kind of tricky to get to move them, get them to go right where they're supposed to. Go, that's pretty good. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bend these more, go kind of 90 with them instead of 45. There we go, that's much better. I got one side that's still a little high, so I need to get that flattened out. Yeah, sorry if my hands are getting in the way on this one. It's kind of tricky. All right, and that is where we want that to go. Just like that. Add a little flux. Sorry, I've got to get my finger in the way to hide. Go. And then I'll do the other. And there we go. There's our nice new cap. Negative side facing the bottom there. All right, one down. We'll go ahead and finish the right side of the board first. C35 and C33. All right, those are both 10 mic 16 volts, so that's going to be these ones right here, which are 10 mic 16 volts. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing for these. Basically, we're going to be preparing all of these the same way. These are positive on the right, negative on the left. Son of a gun, I think means I did my last one wrong. Did I really? Yeah, I totally did. All right, well, time to fix that. Pain in the butt, huh? Well, these things do happen. Word to the wise, measure twice, cut once. All right, so on this one, we actually wanted the negative side facing in towards the cartridge connector. Got that backwards. Can you believe it? All right, same sort of deal. I'm going to secure the side first. And again, sorry, my hands are getting in the way a little bit on this one. Not a lot I can do about it at the moment. All right, there's one side secured. All right, so now our polarity is actually correct. That's not one you want to do wrong. All right. Negative side facing in now, which is correct according to our diagram. All right, so C35 is going to be this pad right here, and that is positive on the right. In fact, this one you can even see on the silk screen. Yeah. I could not see that on the other one. There's a little positive marking right there on the right pad. That one we want right there. I can trim that up a little bit more. There we go. Flux. Dude. Ones are tricky. This one keeps wanting to get away from me. Wrestling me. All right, there we go. So it should look something like that when you're done. Nice clean welds. So we got another positive on the right, negative on the left. I need to get my fume extractor a little closer here. All right, making progress. Next up here we have C31. That is another 10 mic 6 volt. All right, so again, with these, we have indicators on the silk screen for which side is positive. In this case, that's the side facing me. There we go, got our double bend. You know, doing this, now I understand why they have those little cases around them. Makes them a lot easier to lay on the board. And it's not even that doing this is hard. It's hard to do and not have my hands all up in the camera. So again, sorry about that. Not much to be done about it. All right, and so our next one is C37. That is another 10 mic 6. All right, making progress. Yeah, I think we'll just keep working our way up. So next is going to be C36. That is a 22 mic 6 volt. I need to find it. Got a 22 mic 10 volt right here. Okay, that'll do. Same deal. Positive is going to be facing me, so negative. Definitely a smaller cap. Legs a little bit more. And that needs to go there just like that. Flipped over on me. So really it's just a matter of getting one side tacked down correctly. Of course, then I went and moved it. We're done. It's giving me a hard time. All right. Use my pliers on this one. There we go. Now this next one, positive side is different than the other three. It's actually facing away from me. And it shows that right on the silk screen. You can see there's two plus symbols right next to each other. All right, so this is C71. So this is another 10 mic 6. Looks like it's our last one. So this one actually faces the opposite way. This one I've actually got the leg just a little too wide. That one actually cooperated with me a little bit. All right, making progress. So I think it's going to be easier to work my way kind of from here back down, because otherwise I'm going to be trying to, weld pads that are right up against the thing that's above it. So I want to make sure that I give myself plenty of room. So yeah, I think I'm actually going to start up here, work my way down. I'm going to start with C41, which is another 22 mic. We are another 22 mic 10 volt. Actually, that's C41. Right. Oh, huh. Okay, so there's two different potential values here. This says either a 100 mic or a 22 mic may be found on the VA5 or Majesco produced board. So I guess it can actually be either one. All right. So I guess I'm going to err on the side of a higher value. Here's a 22 mic 50. This is a 100 mic right here. Looks like C55 uses a 100 mic. That'd be this one up here. Has to use one. I guess really the question is, do we have any other 100 mics? I think this is one. The 100 mic 6.3. I wasn't aware that there would be variable ones on there. Yeah, it looks like either one of those is going to work though. So you know what? We're going to try the 2250. I think that's what I like for that one. That is also the correct form factor for that, which, if I'm being honest, is kind of why I like it. So that's what we're going to do. All right, we got a little spike on that one, so we're going to hit it with flux again. There we go. All right, so next up is C42, which is going to be this one right here. And that is a 10 mic 50 volt. And that is a positive on the right, negative on the left. All right, there's our 10 mic 50. Making good progress. Next up is going to be C43. It's one right underneath it. And that is a 1 mic 50 bolt. I have right here. That's another positive on the right, negative on the left. I have a feeling this one's going to want to fight me. I can just tell. Yeah, it's trying to roll away. I caught it. The only thing I don't like about that, it's kind of set up on a transistor on the other side of it. Crazy about that. See if I can't adjust it and out of there quick. May have to shorten the legs a little bit. That's why I was wanting to roll around on me so bad. Yep, so this one I'm really going to have to kind of use my pliers on. Really hold it in place. Because it's going to want to roll away on me. So I had to cut those legs extra short. All right, that is much better. Yep, that is actually now laying flat against the board. Yeah, it was just sticking up way too high. I didn't like that. All right, so next on the list here is going to be C47, which is another 10 mic 50. And this is going to be a positive on the right, negative on the left. Another kind of similar situation with this one. There's a little SMD cap right above it. Got it tacked in real easy though. Darn it. I just did C40. Did just do C40. We wanted. Nope. Gotta pull that. No big deal. You know what? We're gonna double back because we're gonna do this one next to it first. So that's a 47 mic. All right, here we are. So here's our 47 mic, 6.3 volt. Got a rolling one here too. Gonna do the same thing and pliers for a little bit of help here. All right, making progress. Now we can come back and hit that 1 mic 50 down there at C47. Sorry, 10 mic 50. Yep. Just about dropped that one. So pliers are definitely the way to go for placing your things exactly where you want them. Making pretty good progress here. Have a couple left to go. All right, so next up is C9. Right? Yep, C39. Another 10 mic 50. And this time the polarity is kind of flipped around, so it's going to be positive facing me, negative facing away. I'm actually going to flip the whole board around for this one, make it a little easier to do. All right, so that's tacked on. All right, I think the last one here is going to be C55, which is This big boy up here. It's 100 mic, 25 volt. Yeah, this one's going to be tricky. So I'm actually going to leave myself a little bit more of a lead on those legs there so that I can kind of lay this down and have some room to get in there with my soldering iron. I've got this pad right there, right up against that I need to be able to get into. So that's the one I'm going to try to get at first, although it's not entirely necessary since I left myself some room. So yeah, for this one, definitely give your leads just a little bit more room. All right, now I'm tacked down. Son of a gun. Got away from me a little bit. There we go. All right, our main board is recapped. Clean welds. All right, let's go see if this fixed our screen issue. All right, let's get this put back together here. Man, that connector just puts a death grip. Careful with that. I actually had a wire pull that I had to weld back in there. Be careful when you're pulling that. It's definitely a tight fit. Audio back up. And the other thing we're going to do is actually go ahead and just hook our batteries up too, just to make sure that we don't have any strange power issues for testing. And all this stuff can just kind of stay outside the case because we're not buttoning everything up yet. We're just doing a test. All right, so hook a game back in here. In this case, Revenge of Drancon. All right, fingers crossed. Let's see if we get it. Nothing yet. Bummer. Well, I'm gonna have to just keep playing with it and see what I can figure out here. Okay, we are back. So, I've been at this a little while, and one of the things that I noticed was that my screen would power on, but the LED, the power LED here, would not light. So I knew that there was something going on with power. And I had noticed that, you know, when I had pulled this loom before, it was so tight on here that I had actually damaged it when attempting to pull it. You can see I even did a fix here. But in attempting to get things apart and put back together, this old loom, these old wires just were not up to getting messed with. So realizing that, I was like, well, you know, there's a chance that there's just a bad connection between the power board and the motherboard. So I just wired it up directly myself here. And I just looked up the schematics. They're on the Console 5 wiki, and figured out what pins went where. If you want to do it similar to what I did here, it's actually really straightforward. It's just a matter of tinning these pads, all with the exception of one. There's one pad, and I believe that is pin. Actually, let me look so I can tell you for certain. Yeah, so basically what you have here is pin 1 and pin 2. They both share a 5 volt. Then there's pins 2, 3, and 4 that are all ground. and they all share the same ground. So what I did here was I hooked up pins 3 and 4 to ground, but I actually skipped pin 5 and instead used pin 5 as my pin 6 VREF, then pin 7 VBAT. Number 9 is not connected, or excuse me, number 8 is not connected, and then pin 9 here is our 34 volt for the screen. The only thing that's confusing about this is these pads here don't correspond one-to-one with the pins that were originally there for that socket connector. You have pin 1, pin 2, pin 3, pin 4, and pin 5 right here. But that would leave you short a pin. And since these 3 share one, then I just chose to use this pin right here and connect it to the via that is just under this. So it's not connected here. It's actually connected to a via right where my tweezers are coming in here. But I got that hooked up, and these were the results. Let's check it out. That is a working GameGear back from the dead. Pretty excited about that. You can hear we have sound. Our screen is working. And again, just so you can see on our replacement power board here, in order for this screen to work, you do need to have it set to the 1 position. And so I'm probably going to keep this custom loom that I did here. That should work just fine. The only reason I might change it is if I go to button the shell back up and it doesn't quite fit in there properly. But yeah, this works. We have brought this GameGear back from the dead, and that is always just a really good feeling. Okay, so I have been at it for a few hours now tonight, and I'm getting kind of tired. So I am actually going to hit the sack and rest up a bit. And when I come back for the wardrobe change here, we will get this thing all put back together in its case. But I am really happy that we were able to bring this thing back from the dead tonight. So here after the cut, we will have this thing put back together, and we'll check it out.